Hello everyone, this is my enhancement number 4, and you can see here my folders with my files. And the view folder, we can see the add classification view, add vehicle view, and vehicle management view. In the vehicle folder, I have my index.php, that is my controller, and in my model folder, I have my vehicles model. Okay, so here in my controller in the index.php, we have that connection file with vehicles model that we are going to see in a moment. You can see that navigation list, and I build a drop down to select a classification. So here I alter the get classification functions in the main model to select the classification ID from the car classification, because I need this classification ID to set it as a value of my option in my drop down. So you can see here the classification ID with the classification name, and this is going to help me to add a new car or a new vehicle in the inventory. So okay, so here in my switch case, you can see that if the action is add classification, this is calling the add classification view. And if a new classification is submitted, we're going to have this classification action, and we're going to filter and store data. Then we are going to check for missing data, and if so, if there is a missing data, it send a message of empty fields and called again like the app classification view. Then if everything is all okay, then we send data to the model, and if you can see, the insert classification function and it is called, and we pass in the as a parameter the classification name. Okay, so in a moment we're going to see how this is work, the insert classification function. Okay, and if check and report the result. So if everything is okay, we call this function header with a location of the default view, like the default is the vehicle management.php. And when this is called, automatically the nav list is updated with the new classification. Okay, and this is not sending a message that everything is okay, just show that the new classification in the nav list. So then if something it's wrong, or yeah, it sends a message with the error and calls the add classification view. Okay, in the case that if we the action is add vehicle, so the add vehicle view is called, and if something is submitted in the form of add a vehicle add, then we do the same. Okay, filter and store the data, then check for missing data, and if something is missing, send a message and call again the add vehicle view. And then if something is if everything is filled with the data, then send the data to the model, and we can see here the insert vehicle function with all the parameters. And then if everything is okay, we send a message and that the vehicle is added successfully, and yeah, we call that add vehicle view. But if something is wrong, we send the message and the view. And the default view for this controller is the vehicle management. So the vehicles model. Okay, so here I have my insert classification function and my insert vehicle function. You can see here the only parameter that I'm passing is the classification name. So I insert it into the car classification table. Yeah. And here is. Then here is replace the placeholder in SQL, the statement with the actual values in the variables, and tells the database the type of data it is. So here is where we are sending and replacing the data we get from the form and send it into the database. And the same is with the insert vehicle. With all the parameters, we made a connection with the database, we insert it into the inventory table, all the data with the values, with that values. And here again, the next lines replace the placeholders in the SQL statement with the actual values in the variables and tell the database the data type it is. So here's where this connection and sending data is occurring. So here's my vehicle management view with the two links, the add classification and add vehicle, with their respective actions. Then in my add vehicle view, here is my form with the echo, like with the drop down, the variable I create to the drop down, and the add classification view with the message. Okay, so here is my vehicles default view, that is vehicle management, and this is add classification. So I click here, and here I have the title, the label, and the button to add classification. So if I add something like hatchback, for example, and I click add classification, automatically it calls the location is in the vehicle's default view, and you can see here that it is added my new classification, that it is hatchback. So here in car classification, you can see here my hatchback with its respective classification ID. So then I'm going to add a vehicle, and here's my drop down. So here you can see that this is the new hatchback. Okay, so we're going to use this. Then I have here my the one I tried before, my Peugeot. I'm going to use the dress this one, and this is the best hatchback ever. Okay, the image. Okay, this is something that we're going to work later, but yeah, maybe I'm going to do image. price. Here's the price. We're going to put 3 and black. Okay, so now I add the vehicle, and this is that the vehicle is added successfully in the inventory. So you can see that classification ID is 8, and we're going to the inventory, and you can see here my Peugeot with all the yeah, all the description, image, thumbnail, price, and stock, color, and the classification ID. It's 8, okay, because it is a hatchback classification. Okay, so if I return and if I click something wrong, maybe I want to add something, it will please provide information for all empty fields. And if I the same is with the add vehicle, and if I want to add vehicle, it's please provide information for all empty form fields. Okay, so this is, and here are my validator HTML validations with no error. This is for the vehicle management HTML. This is for my classification add classification view, and for my add vehicle view, and everything is okay with my CSS correct. So here is my my view. And okay, vacation. So yes, here is. So thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye.